head to task. I saw the first man walking, I saw the first man walking, I saw the first of many walking past. In ones and twos they travelled, the first hints of the wave. With hat and stick and scallop, they would go to see the grave of a saint who'd lived among us, a town he'd come to save as he walked along the road to Santiago. With pennies in their pockets and blisters on their feet, they'd come within their weariness, the humble and the meek. For while a day could bring them wages, these months would bring release from the road that they were walking, this road that they were walking, this road that led them forth in their belief. Soon the trickle was a torrent, then the torrent was a flood, and like Noah, how they laughed amid the gadflies and the mud. And I wondered what they shared that made such disparate men beloved, as they walked along the road to Santiago. For one had come from Germany, and one from here in Spain, and one from near the Bosphorus where Constantine had reigned. From every land they sallied forth and ventured home again, and found the road worth walking. They found this road worth walking, for all agreed their roads were much the same. And so I laid my work aside, the days long toils would keep. For what was said, a man must sow if he intends to reap. And so with a laugh I set to putting blisters on my feet, as I joined them on the road to Santiago.
And that was The Road to Santiago by Heather Dale. Heather is a Canadian recording artist and touring musician. She records and performs primarily her own original tracks, and most interestingly, she has never signed for a major label and is an outspoken advocate of independent musicians within the Canadian music industry. Whilst we're talking about music, remember to tune in Friday morning from 8 till 10 for Pop and Rock Legends with Mike Barry and Bob Bluefield. Now, let's return to Nicky as she discussed further her children's books.
Well, I have 3 stories out at the moment, and there are 3 sat on my PC in the last stages of editing, waiting for my illustrator, who is my elder daughter, to stop finishing her uni course and get on with doing my illustrations, please, Fee. And I have, I think, 3 more in my head that are waiting for a good opportunity to write them down. So possibly a total of 9 stories, which I'm bundling, I think, into 3 books. That's as far as I think I want to take it, because that you can only take a magic pencil for a walk so far, I guess. But the next set of children's books that I have in my head that I want to write are around the Bronze Age. Again, linking to the landscape that I'm in every day. And I just can't see a link between Magic Pencil and Bronze Age. I think I want to the next set of books, I think, are going to be about a young apprentice learning bronze-making tools from his father.
We then went on to discuss the Bronze Age and Nicky's fascination for it.
Yeah, I'm becoming more and more interested in the culture of the Bronze Age. I've discovered with the metal detector what may be the third largest Bronze Age site in Europe, so I'm surrounded with it. I have artefacts from it, 3,000-year-old flint tools, for instance, and Bronze Age axes that I have literally on my dining room table as we speak. And the physical connection to people is just unbelievable. So, I'm immersed in it. I might as well take advantage of that and do some writing with it.
I asked Nicky about her daughter's involvement in the creation of the Henry book series.
That's right. She's just coming out of a degree in digital animation. She's always been a fantastic artist. My house is full of her art. And, why not? I'm actually paying her reasonable rates for this. She gets a book credit on her CV, and I get the most magical, beautiful paintings on the cover of my books. I'm delighted that she's working with me. She's busy doing the 3 illustrations for the next series, which is, spoiler I guess, but there's a dinosaur involved, there's a bird bath involved, and there's a story on a prequel, how the magic pencil got the magic, which is based around a cedar tree, and in each of those she's got the same feel. It's super.
Time for some more music. This is from Steel Eye Span, and I'll let Nicky pronounce the title.
Gaudete, rejoice.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete.
Esigelis pater clausa petram sita, unde luxus totus salus infinita.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete.
Nostrum cantios alabiam nostrum, benedictum Dominus salus regni nostrum.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete, 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 Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, gaudete.
Seklo Sounds is based at the Old Rectory, the home of our studio partner Interaction MK, who have been bringing arts to life in Milton Keynes for over 35 years. Interaction MK use the arts to improve the life chances of disabled people and others in challenging circumstances through shared activities. Their programs help participants to develop creative, personal and social skills. Steel Eye Span have been performing since 1969, and they are well known for their part in the British folk revival. Probably their biggest hit was in 1976 with All Around My Hat, for which they received a gold disc. You are listening to Seklo Sounds. Check us out on Facebook. Just search for Seklo Sounds. We then talked to Nicky about Nicky's second passion, which is history. How long has she been interested in the subject? Was it just local history? And was there anybody in particular who inspired her love of the subject?
Now, certainly since secondary school, I was very, very lucky that my history teacher at school was inspiring and a historical fiction author, so I was probably doomed by her. But the link to Gauditae is the Latin. When I was wandering around with my metal detector, one of the first things I found was a lead roof tile beneath a barn, an ordinary farm barn, which was just so nuts that I brought in the archaeological unit to do a dig on that site. And what we're fairly comfortable that we've discovered is a new site for a 12th century monastery, in fact a priory. And in order to find out what was going on with this, I had to reteach myself Latin. I have an O-level in it, but no more than that. And to spend an awful lot of time in the Suffolk Record Office finding out about the history of this one field, which actually turned out to be one estate. And that it's just such an interesting piece of history. That the estate was granted at the end of the 12th century to a local lad called Wimer, but I can trace it further back in time than that, to before the Norman invasion, when it was owned by an ancestress of mine. So it's back to 1056. I can trace this estate as a unit. So, the history of that is absolutely a passion of mine.
I guess priories are not the kind of thing you discover every day.
Well, it's actually that the marking on the map that says where the thing was is wrong, we've discovered. Every inch of land in England is owned by somebody. So I approached this particular landowner. This estate is still in private hands all this length of time as a unique entity. And I wrote to this man and said, look, there's Saxon bits over there and over here. There's Roman here, Roman here. All the lines, if you join them up, are across in the middle of your land. Can I please come and play with my metal detector on this particular field? So he invited me in. I did one field for him. I wrote a report on the history of what I saw, and absolutely hooked the guy, I'm sorry to say. Now, I've been on that estate now for 3 years, and I still talk to him on a very regular basis. I have free access to his estate except during the shooting season. His gamekeeper and I don't see eye to eye, but it's brilliant that the family are as interested now in the history as I am.
So when you first started off, were they not that bothered? Did they prefer not to have people on their land?
Oh, they certainly don't want people on the land, and particularly don't want the kind of metal detector who is just going to do goody hunting and disappear. When I'm out, I take a GPS photo with my mobile phone of everything that I pick up that's of historical interest, and I map it for him so that now I have a database that we can cut, look at all the Bronze Age stuff, take it down a level, look at all the flint scrapers that determine the sites of Bronze Age huts, for instance. And that's a superb resource. Not only my family, but also the archaeological unit absolutely love it, because it just adds so much depth of information to the site. I regularly run stuff that is treasure trove past the British Museum, and also through the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge, who have the early coin database in the UK. But they are interested in stuff on a much wider geographic scale. It's the Suffolk Archaeological Unit who are particularly interested with the depth of information I can bring to one piece of 1,200 acres in the heart of Suffolk.
And now for some more music chosen by Nicky, and this particular track is from 1968, and it's Ella Fitzgerald with Summertime.